Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined now by Tom Murdoch, who's the Managing Director of Brimmond. It's good to see you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Looking very happy here at SUBSEA EXPO, and so you should, because last year was a great year for Brimmond, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So we've gone through an extremely busy and productive year at Brimmond.
Always good to hear.
I think we are up approximately 40% in headcount in just over 18 months.
Wow.
So the team has grown a lot. We achieved our Fit for Offshore Renewables as well in the summer, which was, it's something that we're very proud to have got through. And lastly, I think we're due to end this financial year on about a 70% increase in turnover in comparison to last. So
70.
70, yeah. So
Excellent
it's a record-breaking year for us at Brimmond.
Yeah. So what can you attribute that success to? I'm sure it's a whole mix of factors.
We've spent a lot of time actively trying to diversify within other industries. So a significant portion of last year's increase in revenue was a large renewables project. So it was a 1.8 megawatt jetting spread, and it's to assist with the installation of subsea monopiles for a wind farm. So that was a huge part of it. As well, our core business within oil and gas has seen a really strong year. We're now 27 years in business, and a lot of Brimmond was built on oil and gas.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep our core business and continue to diversify as well.
Mm-hmm. Because we talk a lot about companies who are diversifying and going with the energy transition, and Brimmond is a great example of that. Because yes, as you say, traditionally business was coming from oil and gas, but very much now we're seeing a strong renewables focus.
It's a lot to do with the transferable skills, and our core product is all based for being vessel based, so it's equipment that's been designed specifically to be used offshore, which means that it's very easily transferable to the offshore industry, particularly for offshore wind.
So a record year last year, but you also invested quite heavily too.
We did, yeah. So about 40% of Brimmond's turnover is in our rental fleet. So we need to ensure that we keep on top of that, and we continually invest back into it. So we invested about 1.2 million in our rental fleet last year. And it was a range of products from marine cranes right the way through to pumps specifically for aquaculture. So again, a diverse product range, and we're continuing to invest into our rental fleet.
I hear the pumps for aquaculture. Now that must be quite new for you.
It is, yeah. So it's actually brand new. We are going to field trials in March. It's called the NetJet, and it's a pump that is specifically designed for cleaning nets on aquaculture farms. So we'll be the only company in Scotland that manufactures them, and we'll be the only company in the UK that manufactures and rents these. So we are able to offer a rental product, which for some of our clients is a much more sort of feasible OPEX decision as against a high CAPEX cost.
And presumably the demand is high for that too.
It is, yeah. I think the Scottish Government want to see aquaculture grow. I think it's 3 times between now and 2030. So, the industry itself is inherently sustainable, and it's based on the west coast of Scotland primarily, and we're over there a lot with the marine crane side of the business as well. So it goes hand in hand with what we're doing right now.
I mean, when you're talking about what you're doing in the aquaculture sector, Brimmond is you're kind of a poster child for companies who have honed their expertise in oil and gas, and you're now applying those skills to other sectors, aquaculture being one of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's to do with the reputation we've built. So, Brimmond is renowned for building very high quality equipment, and we never cut corners. So it means that the name that we've built within oil and gas over the last 2 decades is attributed to quality, and within all these other industries that we're dealing with, downtime is extremely expensive. So if you can pay more for a quality product that is reliable, that's the choice that people will go for.
Yeah, of course. Now tell me about, I was reading some background about your recent year, and what's a fab shop?
So yes, this is our new fabrication facility would be the fancy term
for
it.
Shop.
The fab shop, yeah. So we expanded and it was complete in about September time, and it was 1,300 square foot, and effectively we built this new facility to allow us to take our fabrication and welding out of our main workshop and put it into the fab shop. It prevents the kind of welding dust and stour building up, and it makes a much cleaner system.
So obviously we look back and 2023 was particularly good for the company, but always looking to the future. What are the plans for the next year ahead?
So we like to keep our strategy simple. We've got a couple of key goals that we'd like to achieve, and the first of those is to continue to grow our team. And that's not just in headcount, it's in upskilling as well. So in the past sort of 6 months, we spent a lot of time making sure that our staff are correctly trained, and ensuring we're bringing on apprentices as well as the sort of next generation for Brimmond. So we're going to continue to invest heavily in our people. Another key thing for us is to grow our core business. I've mentioned earlier on that oil and gas is still strong, and we intend to grow that, but then also continue to diversify into the other key sectors such as aquaculture that I'd mentioned before.
Yeah.
So we'll be exhibiting up at the Aquaculture show in June. And then lastly, it would be to see what we can do with the Fit for Offshore Renewables granted status. So last year we delivered a significant project within offshore wind, and we'd like to continue that into this year as well. So yeah, hopefully a similarly busy year as it was last year.
Of that, I have no doubt. Tom, listen, thank you for catching up with us and bringing us up to date. It's great to speak to you.
Not at all. Thank you very much. Cheers.